me and Mr. Hesh, the corporation counsel, were on the 23rd floor. I told him we got to get out of here. We started walking down the stairs. We made it to the 8th floor. Big explosion. Blew us back into the 8th floor. And I turned to Hesh. I said, this is it. We're dead. We're not going to make it out of here. I took a fire extinguisher and I bust the window out. That's when this gentleman here heard my cries for help. This gentleman right here, and he kept saying, stand by, somebody's coming to get you. They couldn't get to us for an hour because they couldn't find us.
You thought that was it?
I thought we're dead. I thought that was it. I started praying to Allah. I said, that's it. We're gone. It's over.
What was it like for you? You were inside there as well.
It was pandemonium. I mean, it was something like out of a Bruce Willis Die Hard movie. He was there and he was crying, and there was another gentleman crying and for help. We couldn't get to him. We tried to get through we went through the buildings. We were lost. Both staircases, the backside was completely blown away. There was no way to access it. We couldn't get to him. And finally, one of the fire department teams found him. But we didn't think they were going to make it.
Well, certainly you got out. Many others didn't. Of course, we don't have a number right now of fatalities or injuries.
All right.
But I want to translate a story to you.
Now, that's Building 7 before it collapsed. Now, that's in the morning. Now, they've now released NIST footage of Jennings and Hess, the head of emergency management, screaming for help, confirming the other witness. And they've released audio that you can hear on the video of explosions going on. I mean, nothing's hit 7. There's a few windows knocked out from some small debris. Suddenly, boom, whole side of the building's blowing out. Then NIST gave 6 different reasons why 7 fell. Now they've had to retract all those, and they don't say why it fell. Overbuilt to sustain a terror attack. Now, when we come back, we're going to play fire department describe the bombs planted in the World Trade Center. It's as if they had detonators. Boom, boom, boom. The floor started popping out. It was like we were in a foundry, a volcano. There was molten steel everywhere. We don't know how you melt the steel. The jet fuel can't do it. It was like a foundry. It's called thermite. It's called thermite. Explosive thermite. It was just as if they had detonators. What'd the other firefighter say? He wouldn't say anything while the others would tell the story, and he goes, look, we got to get out of here. There's bombs. There's bombs. All these buildings can stop blowing. They have bombs in there. And we're told, no, you didn't see that. Sit down and breathe the asbestos and die, okay? That's how we're going to take care of you. You got that? Again, we only play these clips. We played the new one today a couple times a year, and it's in our computers, but I thought we had the one without the cussing, where they're talking about, the bombs, the detonators. It'll take a little while. We've got the clip. They're having to put beeps over the firefighters, so that'll be in the next segment or the segment after that. But we do have one clip from New York TV when they were interviewing them that day where they're not cussing, and they're talking about molten steel coming down the channel rails like it was a foundry. That's where they smelt metal. It's like lava. So here is that clip.
I think he just did it to... Who knew? To be honest with you, I think he might have thought that was it for us, too.
You'd get down below and you'd see molten steel running down the channel rails. Like you're in a foundry.
Yeah. Like lava.
Like it was lava on a volcano.
There wasn't a lot of screaming. There wasn't a lot of yelling. Obviously, there was no machinery. I mean, there wasn't.
And they're in there not understanding why. This is when the planes have hit. They're going in, and there's molten metal just pouring out. They're like, what is this? Folks, jet fuel burns maybe 1,800 degrees. Steel starts weakening at about 2,500. It starts melting past 3,000, depending on its makeup, what type of steel it is. And that's what the thermal photographs by NASA from its aircraft show of temperatures months later in the pile of over 2,500, 2,600 degrees. Some of the readings show over 3,000. This is months later. This was high-tech weapons that they were using in there, high-tech bombs. And I've got a list here of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 different clips just in Paul Joseph Watson's article. I'm begging you, if you've been a critic of 9/11 truth, and you haven't looked at the evidence and you make jokes about it, this isn't a joke. This is your life we're talking about, our lives. Go watch all the firefighters. Go watch all the videos. Understand this is impossible. Understand that Willie Rodriguez, who was, this big hero on national TV, that he was then demonized for saying, no, there were bombs going off. The firefighters all know about it. There were bombs going off down the bottom of the World Trade Center North Tower. He's a hero. He's had the courage to come out with many others, and then they get ridiculed. And then for 9 years, they say the dust isn't bad for you, and it turns out the government knew and lied about it. And I saw the New York Post call the firefighters and police ambulance chasers that they're trying to get medical care. Just like our troops who are exposed to the depleted uranium. Our troops are exposed to the depleted uranium. The Army's own reports know it's going to give them cancers, birth defects, kill them with degenerative cancers and other disorders. And, they just say, it doesn't matter. The Pentagon and the Veterans Affairs, the VA, will not give them medical care for the DU because they won't admit DU's hurting them when the Army's own manuals. I've had the head of the Army's DU program on the show. A lot of his team have died. He's had 20-plus surgeries. That's destroyed his kidneys. That's because that's where it comes out of the bones and the body and really concentrates in the kidneys and the urinary tract. He's got cataracts from it, and that's what their own reports from before Desert Storm and the new war. The Army knew this back in the 50s when they were looking at using DU as a weapon. They said, we can't. It causes organ failure. It attacks the kidneys. It causes skin cancer. It causes cancer of the sinus, wherever it concentrates. It's like asbestos, but hundreds of times worse. This is what they think of you. Don't you understand that they're murderers who see human life as less than worthless? They see it as a negative, as trash to be taken out. They see it like dog droppings in your house. They don't just not care about you, they hate you and want you dead because you are heroes. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I've got news on the economy that is off the charts insane. I've got police state news. I've got this Texas lake where a bunch of people have been shot at and robbed, and this woman watches her husband killed, and CBS News is trying to imply that she's a liar. And the police are going, no, we get shot at all the time. You shouldn't even be on the lake now. Poor tourists come in to go bass fishing or water skiing, and you die, you get kidnapped. And the media's like, this woman, her husband probably just drowned. She said 3 boats pulled up and shot him right in the head. And then they sat there laughing at her while she was trying to pull him up on the jet ski, which anybody who's ridden a jet ski knows is next to impossible. And it's just funny. The Mexican government's like, shut up, conspiracy theory. There's nothing going on in Mexico. There's no murders on the border. 5 mayors killed in the last month down there. 28,000 dead. Capital of kidnapping in the U.S. now, Arizona. There's no problem. But getting back to 9/11 and this huge news, let's play that clip again. The clip of firefighters saying it was as if there were detonators, floors popping out. Boom, 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 boom. Here it is.
What did we do? We made it outside. We made it about a block.
We made it at least 2 blocks, and we started running. Floor by floor, it started popping out.
It was if they had detonated.
Detonated.
They were planning to take down a building. Boom, 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 boom.
All the way down. I was watching it and running.
Just ran up West
And then you just saw this cloud of chasing you down.
Couldn't outrun it. West Street.
Couldn't outrun it.
So what'd you do?
I jumped behind a battalion car. I hit under the car. I was waiting to die.
Okay, so there you have it. We had to cut out again a few of the cuss words. Now let's play the new video where the International Center for 9/11 Studies shows firefighters describing secondary explosions shortly before the collapse of the Twin Towers. This is the new video and the article. 911 firefighters reveal huge explosions before Twin Towers collapse. The search term today, so hundreds of thousands of new people will read this article. Huge explosions. 2 words, search the term, please. Huge explosions, and don't stop. In the next few hours, you want to keep it #1 for a while. Good job, folks. Let's go ahead and play this new clip. Here it is.
There's an explosion. There's was in the lobby and the third explosion, the whole lobby collapsed on us.
What was it like? What was it like?
Horrible.
It's like hell. You don't want to know.
The whole building just collapsed on us inside the lobby.
Is that a secondary explosion?
Yes, it was.
That was the
Yeah, definitely secondary explosion. We was inside waiting to go upstairs, and on the way upstairs, the whole thing blew. And we just collapsed on everybody inside the lobby.
Similar to the first tower coming down, secondary?
I don't know about the first one, but I know the second one it was terrible. Then there was a third one too after that one.
Third explosion after that?
Yes, sir. Everybody was inside the building, waiting to go upstairs, and they just let loose. Everything just let loose inside the building.
So what you told me is that there was plane or whatever hit the building, then the secondary explosion.
It was like 3 explosions after that. We came in after the fire. We came when the fire was going on already. We was in the staging area inside the building, waiting to go upstairs. And it exploded. The whole lobby collapsed on the lobby inside.
And it's just mayhem after that?
Just man, everybody tried to make their way out.
Just trying to help all the brothers get out.
A lot of people trapped inside.
I was sitting in the Brooklyn Navy on Boston, Brooklyn. We watched the first explosion. As we're watching the building, I saw a black, very large airplane fly right into the second building. It came out of the south, right in front of our eyes. Just, it was so surreal, like a movie set.
Second and third explosions also, right?
We were in the building for the third one. It collapsed. I was on this drive here for the other one.
People don't understand. There may be more. Any one of these buildings can blow up. This ain't done yet.
How does this?
This is on top of this. It could be no worse than this. Could be nothing no more.
Ladies and gentlemen,
in the building trying to help people, and it's exploding.
There is more proof, and it's all in our article up at prisonplanet.com. 911 firefighters reveal huge explosions before towers collapse. This is a major strike against tyranny that for 9 years the federal government has blocked the release of the firefighter and police video interviews from during the attack, where they have units of firefighters and police that were documenting everything. And we know why they barred the release of this, but via the lawsuit, some of it has been now released because it shows the bombs going off in Building 7. In fact, I want to play a clip, give you guys a heads up. I want to play 1843 clip. Keep your eye on that building. It'll be coming down soon. Now, before this CNN footage got inadvertently re-aired in a CNN Remembers a few years after, I talked to the firefighters and police and had them on this show and gave speeches with them in New York, who saw, they were saying, what's going on? This is at 5:20-something in the afternoon. Why are you saying get back from 7? And they said they're bringing it down. The firefighter commanders, the police commanders, and the globalists spin this and say, you're saying the fire chief and the police were involved. No, they're compartmentalized. They're told, get back, it's coming down. So they didn't hide that fact. They go, get back, it's coming down. Keep your eye on that building. It's going to be blowing up in a minute. And you had all the local newscasts that we've aired where they were saying, we're thinking about blowing up 7. Well, then the question is, how did you blow up 7 so quickly? How did you get bombs in a building that had already blown up in the morning when nothing hit it? As police and the deputy head of emergency management, Barry Jennings, and others have said on record. But I had interviewed people who said this exact same thing before it happened. I talked to an EMT as well who walked up and said, what's going on? Why get back? And it was a plainclothes person on the radio identifying themselves as part of the medical team. And they said, look, I can't tell you. I can't tell you. And then all of a sudden he just turns the radio and it's 7, 6, 5, 4. And he goes, just run for your lives. And that's why you see cops and firefighters and everybody starts running. Amy Goodman, when she had a local show, the head of Democracy Now!, she's there, and you see her, and you see firemen and police running. There's Building 7 a few blocks down, and she's going, what's going on? And I've talked to the police, the firefighters, the medical workers who all saw this, the countdown, the screaming, the yelling. And we've got footage from multiple local stations and CNN as they're saying, get back, they're bringing it down. And Amy Goodman starts running, and boom, 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 that sucker goes down in its own footprint at free fall speed. And the government lied and said, no, it wasn't free fall, because that would mean bombs. And later they said, okay, it was free fall. Free fall. Now let's go ahead and play this clip of the cops saying, get back, keep your eye on that building. It's not going to be there in a minute. Here it is.